sorry. We had a whole bunch of craziness come in, and you got bumped down a patient or two for CT. But take comfort in knowing it was for some pretty nasty stuff.
How am I supposed to find comfort in that? Or anything you've told me since I got here, for that matter?
I don't know, but everything is supposed to come with a lesson, right?
Oh, this is more of your Zen motorcycle bullshit.
Maybe. No, the truth is I'm just stalling because it's going to be a while longer.
Okay, look, I appreciate the effort, but you guys are obviously jammed up, and I'll just come back when it's not our nation's birthday.
You're already here. It's not going to be that much longer, I promise. Just stay and get your CT.
I will do it all when you get back, and this place is less crazy.
This place is always crazy. I don't know when I'm going to get back. Can you just sit the down and wait a little bit longer? It won't kill you, but leaving might.
Okay.
I fell for Mohan at the end of this episode because it's when Orlando is brought in with the head trauma.
Yeah.
How does she feel about seeing him come back in this way, especially since we saw what she was willing to do to help him earlier?
Yeah, I think, especially at the end of 212, I think she can't really process what's happening because this is literally her worst nightmare. I mean, it's like calling back so much to how she lost her father. And there's been so many reminders of that, I think, through the day, of that day in her life. And I think Orlando coming in, I think she just can't process it at the end of 212. And I think she does whatever she can to focus on other things to not process it. But I think it does catch up to her in hour 13. Lucky number, I'm realizing. It's just an intense episode.
Speaking of that, so what can you preview about hour 13 for Mohan as she's going to be continuing to deal with everything, and now there's what's going on with Orlando?
I mean, it's an intense episode. That's all I'll say. It's like a lot, I think, happens for her, and I think it's like just a real moment of crisis for her because it's a lot.
Because hour 13 last season was Robbie's breakdown, so are we heading towards something like some big moment for Mohan in 13 this season?
I mean, I don't know what the final cut looks like, so I will defer to whenever it does come out.
We talked about geriatrics earlier, and this is the episode that Robbie brings it up now to her. And so how does she feel about that? Like, after what she's seeing with her current patients, that elderly couple, which also I like seeing Dan Florek in the episode.
Yeah. No, they were so lovely to work with. And he's like, he was just so kind and just so talented. It was definitely interesting, and I think seeing for herself that like she does have a talent with older patients, like a lot of her skills do carry over, and it might actually inform her ability to be good at a geriatrics track. I think also is something that is maybe a little bit of a confidence boost for her that maybe doesn't last.
Mohan's witness to a bit of Dana's attitude when she says, supposed to be speeding up in the 11th hour, and then when Robbie's telling her to pass off the patient who attacked Emma. What's Mohan seeing in Dana? Like, is she noticing anything? Because Dana's also going through it this shift.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dana sometimes does make comments like that to Dr. Mohan. So I think she's a little I don't want to say like she's used to it because that's not really it. But I think she is a little surprised by the tone because Dana's like she's like the circus manager, she does kind of go like, okay, let's get it together, let's keep going. So I do think that, that's like part of her job and she knows it, but I do think the tone of it like does feel maybe like surprising to her in that moment. So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of people unaware that everyone else is going through it and I think that's what's embarrassing for Dr. Mohan because like I think episode 10, like everyone sees that she's going through it, and that I think is a lot for her.
So this move to night shift, though, that was to accommodate your schedule, right? Because of off campus?
Pretty much, it was kind of everything just kind of like fell into place with that. So it was just the time and everything was perfect. So they just kind of instinctually moved me over to the night shift, yeah.
But at the same time, it seems like Mateo's having fun on the night shift, right?
It's a blast. It's wild, That's what he said. It's a wild place to be. So yeah, I'd say he's having fun.
But I think that's also just him. I feel like it's not necessarily that's changed him. That's just who he is. And it's just he'll fit in anywhere.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit of a night owl too. So I think because him being nonchalant and just really like calm and relaxed and chill is kind of a counteractive measure to the chaos of what goes on in a night shift. So I think he finds an even keel balance in being there and everything, yeah.
And it's a great reintroduction to him walking in, first one to arrive.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Purple shirt with the chain, yeah. Yeah.
What makes the night shift though like right for him in terms of just like the fact that like I guess it's good for him that he can have the day off? Does he like what does he do during the day? Is this like some a good adjustment for him where he can get something done during the day?
I think honestly, in my personal opinion, I think Mateo he's at the gym or he's just like honestly like a lot of healthcare workers just sleeping when they're off shift and just relaxing and decompressing. And I think he's kind of like he said in the first season, he's just goes home, watches gets some takeout, watches some TV, and then shows back up the next day. And so yeah, I think he's an easygoing guy and all that. Yeah,
Does he miss the day shift though? Not just like necessarily the hours, but the day shift itself.
miss the day shift. I don't know. I would say. I mean, to allude to later episodes, maybe he misses something about like one of the characters. I'd say misses like kind of the little adventure of all that. I'd say maybe. Don't want to give too much away, but yeah.
Because also like right off the bat, we see more of like what we enjoyed about Matteo and Giovanni's relationship from season one. How do you think that relationship has changed in these 10 months? Like what haven't we seen?
I think they've definitely, me and Shabana talked about this, but like we've definitely gone out for coffee. Like we've definitely hung out in between season one and season two. Um, I think there definitely is a mutual respect as of course as like you've worked with somebody for a little bit more time. Um, I think that I'd say from Mateo's perspective, I think that he he noticed Giovanni in the first season, in the first day, but I think he going into the second season, he kind of he's seeing her like in a sense of like he's paying attention. I'd say, yeah.
Because there's a bit of a flirtation between them, obviously, and it's like even in this episode when he like first comes in, he does bring up her coming over to night shift and everything. So it seems like they may be closer to something happening. They're like still taking those steps, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the clear definition of a slow burn, I'd say, even for them, yeah.
I mean, much better than when they started.
I know, seriously, yeah.
Duke tries to leave. He insists he'll come back when it's not as busy, but Robbie insists that he stays. Would Duke really have come back, especially with Robbie planning to go on the sabbatical before for that season?
No way. The only reason he's there is because he promised Robbie he would be there. He does not want to know about his health. He knows that he's abused himself for a long time, and he's sure that it's a mess in there, and just let it play itself out.
So it's really just about like knowing that there's bad news coming. It's not like that this isn't like who he's been like his entire life, where it's just like he doesn't want to deal with doctors. This is just like he knows that there has to be something.
Well, he doesn't like to deal with. I mean, Duke is an ex-biker, who has put himself in harm's way for most of his life, and now I think he's probably in some form of recovery or sobriety, and he's willing to take care of himself, but within reason. It's like you don't want to get doctors involved. That would admit that you're old. A and B, just like no.
Yeah, so if it wasn't for Robbie, then no one would be able to get him there.
Well, and even that, he waits until the very last minute to come in. And on the 4th of July, for God's sake.
I know, everything's happening on the 4th of July.
It's crazy, right?
The audience, like everyone around Robbie is seeing like he's on the verge of something, can hear it in like everything he's saying, but these are also people who were with him on the first season shift. Duke has a completely different perspective of Robbie because he doesn't see him at work. This is the only time he's actually getting to see Robbie at work. So how does that affect like Duke's opinion and like perspective of what's going on with Robbie?
Well, he gets to see Robbie as another man going through what he's going through, and as someone who shares certain interests with Duke. And he sees him aside from his role, so he can just see the stress that this man carries, and probably the feeling of just letting go that he's able to find in putting this motorcycle back together, this hands-on thing of just fixing something that actually isn't life and death.
Because also, he doesn't want anything from Robbie. He doesn't even want his medical care. So that's a completely different thing. So he's not looking to get anything out of Robbie.
It's really a love story from my perspective. It's just, it's rare that men are able to share anything of any value. And I just imagine these late nights in the garage, two guys working alongside each other and not having to say anything, and just living in the comfort of that. And Dr. Robbie doesn't have to be in charge. He can actually say, I'm having a problem, what do I do? And get an answer. He doesn't have to have the answer for everyone.
And that's probably something that Duke likes as well, that he can like kind of not think about his own life and he can just be that for Robbie.
Well, yeah, and have a relationship with someone who's clearly in a different station socially, but in a place where there is just a leveling of the playing field, and where he gets to be his brilliant self and Robbie gets to be his brilliant self, but it's not about better or worse or better than or less than. It's just about sharing.